All right, brand new best of 3 starting up right now. This is not a qualifying match, but it's gosh darn close to it. Spawning here in the upper right side, we got the red Zerg player, none other than Team Liquid Snute. And his bottom left is gonna be the green Terran. He's ever so young for the Team Exceed. It's Clem. Also, Fear Dragon coming back, 53 months. It's good to see you pass this week in Graham. Well, thank you, Ravi. Hope you're feeling better. I am, dude. Thank you. I hope you had a good time, too. You were so busy, I didn't actually get to see you much, which was so strange because every event we go to together, I'm always seeing you run around either the player pit or, like, interviewing players, etc. So, I'm going to assume you had a good, busy weekend, too. But, it was, yeah, good seeing you. Monsieur Bloodbad. Bloodbad. I don't know how to say that because that's mostly half French. Thank you for that Prime sub. Welcome aboard. And as well as Matthew Conrad for the 100 bits. Much appreciated, dude. All right, let's talk about this matchup that's about to get slapped down in front of us, right? Clem is so hot right now. I think that I get really surprised because there's so few Terrans in general that we play at a high level. Like I could laundry list off like Sol and Optimus and Ziggy, and there's like definitely Terrans that exist, right? The problem is we haven't had a lot of breakaway Terrans in Europe since the days of like Bunny, or when he's actually playing his best Euthermal, but Euthermal doesn't feel like he's not as active anymore as he used to be type thing. Or maybe he is privately and only plays in events. The point is, Clem is nice because he's like this ray of hope for me where I'm like, look, forget the fact that this guy might just end up being one of the best players ever, given enough training and practice. The fact that he's playing in a lot of stuff, like whether it's weekly cups, whether it's Ting, whether it's BTSL, like Clem's playing in everything. And it's awesome getting to see just someone pushing the forefront of Terran instead of all Zerg, all Zerg, all Zerg, then Protoss, and Zerg and Protoss, and Zerg and Protoss. But I think I'm not sure that Clem's gonna beat Snute, but I think with how talented Clem is and Snute's recent malaise when it comes to this matchup, I think there's a chance he could. I wouldn't actually say it's impossible for Clem to beat Snute at all. In Snute's mind, of course, Clem's favorite, but nice micro so far, by the way, out of both. I love the pullback out of Clem. He's trying to keep those SCVs. Mineral walk through to the back. Oh, he almost did that flawless. Clem, if Clem didn't lose a single SCV there, oh, I would have changed my mind. I've been like, no, Snoop, you're dead. Get out, just leave. But no, really good control, great decision making. I love that he pulled the SCVs and didn't just let this stall out. He finishes his command center at a reasonable time and moves on to his next tech stop, which is, of course, typical factory to Stargate. Or Starport, which is certainly worth mentioning because versus Protoss, you had a very different, very strange build order than I would say what would be average. Janopa12 says, hey, Rifkin, congrats on casting in Texas. Also, I haven't heard about how's your mom been doing in a while. Best wishes and definitely love, man. I guess it's a bigger topic, but to give a quick summary on how my mom's doing, she's recovering. She's not in a great spot. She's nowhere close to anything you could even call it cured. But it looks like the experimental treatment she took that, like, basically took out all of her white blood cells. I don't know the name of this, but they took her to the hospital. She had to stay there, like, quarantined for, like, 2 weeks or something. Because, like, they took out all of her white blood cells, like, just straight up nuked them, and then, like, injected stem cells or new white blood cells or something. So she was not really allowed to, like, have contact with anything for a while. She's home now, and supposedly it's just, like, she's very weak, but she's, like, you know, alive. And we'll know more in, like, the coming months, like, how stable she is. But for now, she seems okay. I call her about once every 2 or 3 days just to check in. But there's the TLDR on my mom, so thanks for asking. I will say this though, again, like the extra cost for things really surprised us as a family in general. So all you guys who helped fundraise during that one day, that was a really big deal. Thank you for that. I missed your sub. Oh shit. Did I? No, I missed your bits. Excuse me. Online strategic. No wait, online strategy, I don't know. Thank you for the 100 bits. Rough kid. So can you read my name without butchering it? Clearly not. Fuck, I should have read the message first. All right, so third CC on the way. Snute sees all this weather with the Overlord. The Banshee follow-up to this is not so crazy. Clem is not doing anything absurd like going for mech. He's gone for Banshees. Cloak's a nice little add-on. You can actually get quite a bit of use out of this, but it's still at the core bio. Still being researched as we speak. Snute We saw a very strange style come out of him earlier, and I don't know if that was cause and effect to the player or if that was just like his new meta. But Snute was playing with ranged weapon upgrades and roaches before. This time I do want to note he's gone for melee upgrades. So I don't think we'll see that same roach style that we saw earlier today. Also, the Hellions almost get into a sweet spot in the mineral line, trying to block out that pathing. Ends up being not so good. That being said, though, 8 workers killed, and this Banshee's still going for the time being. Put an asterisk on that, though. She's almost out of juice. New Banshee comes in to tag in. Should be a couple more kills. I don't think he'll be picking up queens anytime soon, but oh, got a little too close for comfort, and for some reason decloaked the safe Banshee. Okay, I'm not sure what just happened there for Clem. We'll call that a mistake. That's what we'll call it. But Lair starts up and a Banley Nest. Remember, when we saw Snute before, he didn't even have a Banley Nest. So super duper strange play earlier. I'm just going to disregard and count it as like a once-off because Snute is playing a lot more the way you would expect him to play, and that's where we use. Now, Snute's typically a guy who goes 9 queens. He's a little bit shy this game, but that's okay because he's still got enough to still inject while having dedicated queens creep spreading. Actually, he's got a lot of the queens in the front line, so he's missing some of the ones. Like, there's no injects going in the main or the natural right now. It's not a big deal because he does have like an inject in it, but melee upgrades again is the emphasis. We're gonna see banlings out of him. I love watching more normalized play. And a cute little move out of Clem as he brings the command center back just briefly to get the high ground vision to snipe the Overlord. It's a little supply block on Snute, but not a big deal. Honestly, it was the vision he needed to remove because Snute had eyes on everything Clem was doing, where he was moving out, when he was moving out, the tanks, etc. 100 bits coming from Hi Alfonso. Have all my bits. Grandma, please get better. Hey, yo, thank you for the bits, dude. I'm sure she will for now. My mom beat breast cancer once. This like bone marrow shit she's got, I don't know what it's called. I'm sure she can beat that too. Plus, she's got all the cats. You know, the first time around, I had one of the cats, but now they don't live at home anymore. She's being the nurse cat to my mom. Makes me super jealous. I miss my cat so much, guys. Continues to stutter step around, just picking up a lot of creep tumors actually. Snute losing a lot of that vision, but he's got more than enough banlings. Hell, even without the banlings, he's got enough zerglings to stop Clem's attack. So quickly, Clem decides to evacuate. I like that he doesn't overstay his welcome because it means he doesn't take much damage on the medevacs, and these are still going strong, meaning he can actually drop with them again later instead of having a medevac hanging by a thread with 6 health, waiting to die to anything that looks at it funny. Oh, we got Optimus in the chat. Speaking of other fantastic Terrans, howdy Optimus. It was good running into you briefly at Austin, you big motherfucker. Pardon my swearing. Again, WCS broadcast. Drops in the main. Drag and drop, drag and drop. Nope, he's just gonna evacuate instead. He sees the Zerglings already on top of this. But that's okay, because if he can keep the attention of Snute to the north, maybe Snute would have nothing to the south, but Snute's a smart cookie, and yeah, this can maybe clean up some creep. He's doing some pickup, annoying main, low ground, high ground type stuff, but it's not really getting a lot done. It is, however, distracting, and again, like even just cleaning up creep tumors is pretty big against a player like Snute, even though he's very quick to replace these tumors a lot of the time. Might actually grab a queen down here, that'd be nice. Nope, never mind, she retreats back. These veins are right there, speed stun, mutas are on the way. Mutas are kind of awkward to see. I do like the idea of just going for a couple though, catching some of those medevacs that end up hanging out in the corners of the map or in the unreachable paths, but yeah, he'll definitely with 6 or 8 of them grab these medevacs in the center, and if Clem unloads, well, he might as well, because he's gonna die if he doesn't. That kind of sucks. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Tries to protect the 4th base on location, but I don't know if he's got enough to do this. Still looking overwhelmed. He's got 2-2. He's got massive army supply gains. I mean, the tank spread is nice, but I don't think he's got enough to actually break the mutas. With the Marines all running around and the mutas just picking up the tanks, Clem's defense is falling apart. He's got a drop to the north side, which might get a base cancel, but Snute's already killed 25 workers. Thor's on the way, but Thor's not here. And this base is not looking good. Most of the Zerglings have been cleaned up, but there's still so many of them left. Remember, that 2-2 is brutal. That Thor is going to spawn, but only get surrounded by the Zerglings, so not even getting a shot off on the mutas, barely getting a shot off on the mutas, excuse me. Clem tries to save it with a medevac pickup, and that hot pickup is not hot enough, and the command center goes down, and Clem takes some serious damage at home. Snute did lose a hatchery in kind of the trade-off for this, but with 4 bases to 2, And the fact that he got not just a kill, but a cancel here. Clem taps out, and Snute takes game number 1. Very well done by Snute. Dang, Clem giving me hope for Terra. Now all hope is lost. It's a little bit extreme for just one bad game. It happens, and this is against one of the titans of Europe. I mean, Snute, I don't think is nearly as scary as someone like Cyril is, but he's still a guy who's always in the top of these tournaments. Round of 8, round of 16, you name it. That's Snute's territory. So I want Snute to get a big win. I'm a big fan of Snute, but he's pretty consistent with getting high in there. Maybe with a little bit of bracket luck, he won't fight his Team Liquid teammates all the damn time. That cannon rush at Austin. Yikes. All right, game number 2. And a bit of an early pool and some shenanigans in tow. To the top left, we have the red Zerg Team Liquid Snutes. To the bottom right, we have the green Terran. His opponent, it's none other than Clem. Now, I think that Clem is... he's good. And like I said, it's not impossible that he beats Snute. But I like what Snute's doing. This is kind of what we talked about when he was fighting against either on the WCS bracket. You go for an early pool, whether it's like last game, you just send 6 Zerglings across the map early, whether it's something you want to dedicate more to. I think touching up on some aggression against the Terrans seems to be like the way to do things. That being said, though, I don't know. It's something where you do certainly sacrifice something to do what Snute did, to go across the map and hopefully get some kills, delay command center, and if you don't, then it really sucks. But it's only a couple Zerglings. It's only 4. This is totally acceptable. The SCV will even scout these coming, so Clem, or no, he won't actually. That's a little awkward. Anyways, the Reaper, I was gonna say, might have ended up staying at home had he seen that. Unfortunately, this is gonna be in the wrong spot, but if you were to go left, no, Clem, no. This is worse than last game, because last game he had at least got the Marine, so he could fight with the SCVs. This time he goes straight to a Reactor, which will lead to faster Hellions, and that's awesome, but he's gonna have to pull like 4 or 5 SCVs to even have a chance to complete this command center. Not to mention probably bring that Reaper back home, and with the scouting SCV over there, and this SCV dying on the command center possibly, that's just a lot of lost income for Clem in the early game. He's not actually pulling from this, by the way. He's hoping to just use the Reaper? Yeah, pops a couple of shots. Looks like the Reaper will be enough. I'm surprised to see that he went for the Marines. These might get canceled. This money he doesn't need to have to spend. Like, that's an extra Hellion, for example. Or starting your command center sooner. He does actually let the Marines finish, so... a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra support, but Snute's coming across the map with a little bit more. And, you know, Clem, he pulled back to stop the Zerglings, so he didn't see the Roach Horn get put down. And he won't see the Roaches till it's too late almost. But if he sees the Roaches anywhere around like here, and he starts building a bunker right away, Clem can hold on to this. But the bunker's gotta go up on the high ground, right? Not on the low ground. And oh no, the Reaper tried to be clever, so he misses it. This is bad for Clem, guys. If he starts a bunker now, it will likely not finish in time. Oh, he's not going to see the Roach Warren either. Oh, no. This is like the worst Reaper of all time. Clem is not making anything to deal with this. No bunker on the high ground. Cyclones won't really cut it when it comes to the Ravagers. They'll deal with like maybe 1 or 2 of the Roaches. Oh, I love this move out of Snute. Like, he's actually playing really well around the lack of scouting. Like, he created this situation, too, with those Zerglings, and took advantage of it. It's nice. And, of course, with the Overlord here, and this is the most important element to this, he's going to have high ground vision to actually shoot things. I think a lot of these times, your Overlord gets picked off early, so you don't actually have the chance to get in there, or maybe the Cyclone lock-on hits. You know, like, the point is, normally you don't have these Corrosive Biles so freely flying. But with high ground vision, it's really not a problem. Now, he's going to send the medevac out to try and boost this, and maybe with a bit of micro can kill some of these Roaches. He should be able to like do some drag and drop stuff here pretty nice, but I mean, that's not going to win him the game. All this has to do is buy him time till the Banshee comes out. Snute trying to predict these shots there. That's kind of cool to see. A little bit of damage going down now. These roaches are not so easy to dodge. Corrosive Biles coming down 2, force the medevac to move. Cyclone's almost dead, but both still standing. And with this extra bit of micro, Clem has actually done a great job holding what should have been like a way worse attack. The fact that he's mining versus being stuck all in one base in the main, I mean, this is better than he probably would have hoped it could have gone for him. And Snute, unfortunately, now reels on the back end of this, not in such a great spot. This is awkward. I love that comes down to like mono and mono, but the medevac kind of helps cheat. The sound is fucked. We can hear Zerglings nibbling on the CC, but not the gunshot from the Reaper. Is anyone else having sound problems? I can look into it if other people are having sound problems. But if this is one guy who set up his audio system wrong, I'm not going to look into it. 2 minutes delay sucks. We'll take a look at it. Also, what's up, Zombie Grub? Good to see you, chat. Had a blast hanging out with you at Austin this past weekend. Hope you're recovering well and swiftly from too much partying. The wall here will not fully stop the Zerglings, but it will keep them from running in, and that's all it really needs to do. If Snute really wanted to dedicate to an attack, breaking down this wall later is going to be super easy. Engineering bays are so dangerous to put out here because this is where the upgrades are going to be. But I guess we should note, Snute has been playing really dedicated to these attacks and frankly not really having it pay off for him. In fact, look at the income right now. It's been better for Clem through all of this. So Snute's, I'm not sure if he's going to double down with an all-in or if he wants to go pure Snute style and mac her out. But this Banshee's only got a couple of kills on her. She really wasn't that effective for the counter. I think with the ranged weapon upgrades coming out, you know, we see this benefit Snute's queens frequently. And if he is going to be, like, if anyone could macro out of this, it's Snute, right? The guy is all about macro, but the style he did before, I guess we were seeing once again, emphasis here on the ranged weapon upgrades, but that was a lot more roaches and ravagers, not so much hydralisks. And I'm wondering if that was cause and effect of the way that game went versus him planning to do it, because so far he's not replacing a lot of roaches. Obviously he's focusing on droning, but I'm curious once that layer is done whether his emphasis goes into hydralisks or if he sticks to roaches as he did before. Because it was so weird. He had, what was that? The Greater Spire, no Broodlords. He had Hydralisk and no Hydras. It was like all Roaches and Ravagers. Well, no, he had some Hydras towards the end of the game, but it was a strange style to play nonetheless. As it's, I don't know, you pair that up with Infestors, and I think I like that a lot more, but I'm just hypothesizing right now while we wait for the layer to finish up and see what he actually goes for. I'm actually taking a quick second here to peek the bracket. I kind of forgot who these guys were fighting if they win. If there's any updates to that, because this is the south side of the winners bracket, and looks like, okay, Mana versus Xanster are currently playing out, and the winner of this will play the winner of them, and I think that's a qualifying match, I believe, because it's top 2. So that'll be kind of cool. I would love to see some more WCS Austin rematches, you know, get that Snute Mana round 2. Everyone's saying the sound is fine. LOL, the sound is horrible. Oh no, sound is unbelievable. Now I don't know who to believe. All right, guys, I'll just leave it as is. Thank you for the feedback. Still looking to step in. No, it's a little dangerous. Picks up. Sees too many roaches, and of course, he's gonna know there's queens behind it. Other Zerg players, you're like, there'll be maybe a queen, maybe 2 queens for the defense, but it's Snute. You're like, okay, I don't see them yet, but there's like 11 queens coming. Watch out. This game, he didn't actually go super queen heavy, sitting on 7, but 7 to 9 is kind of Snute's sweet spot. Barely did any partying. Glad to see things work out in the ER. No, this was fucked up, right? Things didn't work out in the ER. I spent like 3 or 4 hours in the ER and they did nothing, and then referred me to an ENT for 2 days later. I spent a grand total of like 2 or 3 days with that thing stuck in my ear. Oh my god. You know, you don't really appreciate stuff. Like, it's like, you know, when you're feeling fine, you don't appreciate it until you're sick, and then you're like, man, I wish I was feeling fine. If you lose hearing in one, not both, but like one of your ears, and then apply like a ton of pressure on it, oh man, I was just like in agony. I couldn't even sleep because it was so painful too. Like, I hated that. I will never, ever, ever, I will still use Q-tips because I'm a garbage human being, even though I know I shouldn't, but I'll never, ever sit there and say I'm not going to go to the American ER. I will pay that $1,000 or whatever it costs. Like, it was not worth being in that much torture for 2 days. 3 days, whatever it was. And that was the big problem of it too, right? If I didn't fly home, the pressure from the plane would have never driven that thing deep in my ear, and they would have been able to get it out probably no problem. But anyways, enough about that. Who cares? We got some pretty cool attacks going on as Clem tries to do some double drops. I do like this attempt to pull Snute apart, but I mean, we saw Snute do this before. Hydras, Roaches, Ravagers, Vipers. Like, the emphasis here is you start abducting a Blinding Cloud, whatever the hell you want, and there's not even a Bailey Nest, I believe, right? Yeah, so this is very similar to what we saw before. Of course, one of the big things was we saw no Broodlords, but that was more like as a consequence of there not being many tanks to fight. This time, Clem, he's actually got quite a few tanks, and with a second factory finished up, tanks may be a bigger factor, so Snute might put emphasis on the Greater Spire, whereas last time he went for the Greater Spire and didn't use it at all. So there we go, starts up as we're speaking. Drop of the main, hits off, only 2 queens for the defense. That's not going to be so good. Nice transfuse, keeps one of them alive, but only for a little bit longer. Here's the rest of them. Oh man, it must be so frustrating just shooting something a million times. Why won't you die? Well, the answer is transfuses. Transfuse it before you translose it, as I always say. As Grandpappy always used to say to me. Attack on the right side is not going too badly either. Clem's upgrades are kind of falling a little bit off, but with 2-2 finishing here in a moment, this bio is going to have a lot more power to it. Not even the armor upgrades so much as just the damage, because Snute put a lot of emphasis on his armor upgrades, so with +2 already done and +3 halfway finished, Clem's not exactly hitting everything super hard. Ooh, this attack here, I guess the distraction at the top right was pretty good. He gets in a little bit deep though, the medevac goes down for it. Kills 1 or 2 queens. That's too expensive for these Marines. Oh no, I gotta take it back. He gets 2 of the Vipers on top of that. A mistake from Snute floating them forward, but a nice reaction out of Clem, realizing he had the opportunity, and he seizes it. That's, what, one Viper left? 1 Blinding Cloud? 1 or 2 Abducts max? This is actually be a really tough fight for Snute. There's a planetary fortress on the top side. There's plenty of tanks to go around for the other sides. And, Clem doesn't have building armor. That kind of sucks. Not the end of the world, though. Building armor is definitely more of like an anti-Zergling type thing, but... Oh, it looks like the top right's gonna go down. Focus fire on this hatchery is not too bad. As that base snipe, he catches Roaches and Ravagers in the middle of the map. Clem getting some nice damage done here on Snute. A lot of supply goes down, but, I mean, let's be honest, it's Roaches and Ravagers. The more of those Snute loses, the more Broodlords he can potentially make. But only 2 on the way, and Clem recognizes that. He might be able to snipe them. But he sees only 2 and starts backing away, perhaps thinking there's far more. There's only 4 behind us, of course, but one of the big things Broodlords do that are best is they screw with the AI of the tank. The friendly fire goes nuts. Broodlings cause a lot of trouble for Terran. But there's only 2 right now, so again, it's really not that big of an issue. Viper's getting focused down. I love the priority targeting out of Clem. Every opportunity Snute gives them, Clem takes advantage of it. There's a drop at the natural base while this goes on. It's only a couple of Marines, but these couple of Marines are holding strong. Snute's attention is split. He stems forward, but the tanks are killing the Marines. They try to focus on the Broodlords, but that friendly fire, though, Clem has to back away from this engagement. I think this was still ultimately a really good trade for Clem. He killed so many Vipers, 4 of them in total, not to mention whatever for Broodlords. This is looking like a very interesting game. I can't really tell you who I think's in a better position. I feel like the fact that Clem hasn't started his 3-3 though indicates that he's not where he wants to bleed comfortably. He's not maxed out yet. He's thinking about ghosts for snipes. He's thinking about liberator range. He's not thinking about his 3-3. And I think that the longer he stalls that out, the more difficult it's going to be. Like, let's say you snipe all the Broodlords. Congratulations. You still have to fight the Hydras that are going to have their +3 weapons finished beneath this. Not to mention the +3 armor, but the armor, of course, a bigger deal. Now upgrade starts. Clem's got a little bit of breathing room. He's got some money. Like to see that. Good to see that. And drops head up here to the north. Once again, coming to the main. There's not really a lot to grab here. Maybe a queen, maybe a couple drones. I mean, Snute's been very quick on the response to these. He doesn't even get the queen. In fact, oh no, is that boost on cooldown? 2 more seconds. Ooh, still gotta be careful. If you had just shift clicked that, Clem would have just lost 1, maybe both the medevacs. Oh no, the Viper. Oh no, the Viper. No, he's gonna abduct it. Ah, no, the boost. Oh, he's good. He gets out of there. All right. Whew. All the Terrans in the audience sweating real hard right now. Clem, of course, is making a lot of extra command centers, so he's starting to take these extra bases. I'd say the one thing is he really could probably put down some more production since he's maxed out and he's got the money for it. but I'm not going to fault him because I like his composition at the moment. Tanks are really good. They're obviously probably proving to be a bit of an issue here because of the Broodlords, but if he can snipe said Broodlords with the Ghost, then the tanks will absolutely dominate those Hydras and frankly everything else on the ground. Spore Crawler is also advancing forward. It's a little bit funny to see, but when you consider Vikings would have been the natural cause here for Clem to go for, yeah, get that anti-air. It doesn't cost you much, and most importantly, it doesn't cost you supply. Snute, who is on 150 army supply right now because of this, has a really strong standing defensive army. Like, the fact that he's just coupled with the Spore Crawlers is going to help a ton. It's detection, so Ghosts can't even, like, walk up and snipe while cloaked. Oh my goodness. Just gotta keep an eye on the Liberators. There's not really a lot of wiggle room for them. They do not have advanced ballistics yet, so they don't have that extra range. Anything they do here is, oh, well, forget it. Nothing! They're gonna do nothing! The Liberators, they do nothing! More planetaries. Nice snipes. You know, it's just energy, so whether you're using it on a Queen or a Broodlord, more power to you. Not sure what canceled those last two. I guess he lost vision on it. More commanders. I don't know if he needs more planetaries. Honestly, having some orbitals, just so he can get rid of SCVs, might be good. Because if you lose the SCVs, you get more army supply, and then it's going to be harder to kill. And that's kind of what Snute did, right? Snute's got so few workers at the moment, and that's not a bad thing. He's got a decent-sized bank, but he's got a really strong army supply compared to Clem. 154 to 124. This planetary is a little bit low to that, slow to that response here for that repair. No building armor on top of this makes it very difficult to hold on to. The base is likely going to die here. Takes a couple roaches out with him though. That's not too bad, but Snute doesn't care about roaches, man. Snute cares about freeing up supply and getting better units. So, infestors and more Broodlords. The fact that he gets a base and a Ghost for it too, 9 SCVs on top of it, that's nice. That's really nice for Snute. And then keep in mind, that was just like supply he's trying to get rid of. That wasn't like, oh my god, I have to hit this base. That was just like a nice little extra tidbit. Army on the left side coming down. The Viking count is really low here. Like, there's not even enough Vikings to pick off like a Viper, much less Broodlords. The 12 Ghosts are really where Clem's army supply and emphasis goes into. But the problem is Ghosts take up a lot of supply and a lot of money, more importantly. So if those Ghosts go down, it is such a large portion of his army. Not just in, like, because it's not about physical strength or size. It's just about, like, their effectiveness. But looking for some of them snipes. Ghosts have some pretty good health. They've got some pretty good damage. I don't know that he needs to be sniping Queens necessarily, but you know what? When you can, rise to the occasion, I suppose. 4 Ravens coming out behind this. This is really interesting to me, actually. I think the Ravens are in a funny spot right now, and I don't actually like this choice for this situation. But let's talk about what they bring to the party, right? Because these Ravens are more than just their anti-armor missile. Anti-armor missile does like what? Is it 15 damage now? It's something really low. It's not that great. But the negative armor it provides is fantastic. I think the interference matrix may be better for this game. I'll discuss this more in a moment. Right now we got a fight going down. Broodlords trying to push off these tanks. Not a problem because Broodlings, free units, crush the tanks. Not to mention cause a little bit of friendly fire. Attack on the right side too as that planetary going down. Again, no building armor means these bases are going to fall every single time. A couple snipes going off here to grab some of the Hydras. The auto attacks are looking good too. But the reason I don't like the anti-armor is he doesn't have enough units to benefit from it. If this was an army of like a lot of Vikings or a lot of Marines, -3 armor was going to be huge. But you know what? I take it back. 15 Ghosts are pretty cool. 15 Ghosts are very cool. Although Snipe still has a problem where it can be interrupted. If those fungals land, the damage ticks, no snipes. So I really like what Snute's doing here to respond to Clem. I don't know that I'm so sold on what Clem's doing here. A couple of these anti-armor missiles go off and yeah, it's 15 damage. I was like, I knew it was something really low and terrible, but it wasn't like 5. It wasn't that bad. The Broodlords are painted orange, but as we can see, there's no Vikings shooting at them. And this is the thing, like, they've got -3 armor and no way to take advantage of that. So, like, the anti-armor doesn't help with Clem here in terms of snipes. Snipes are still going to kill units with or without the armor debuff because it's a spell. And I'm just really curious where the bulk of his army ends up going. It's Marines for now. Now we got some Vikings coming out. Some more Ravens too. I think we all know what the ultimate endgame composition looks like. We've cast and watched enough streams where we've seen this scenario play out. Just not on the most recent patch. In fact, This might be the very first game I've seen of the patch anyone's gotten multiple Ravens like this. But you know, the thing is, Ravens might not do as much damage as they used to, right? Like 15 damage instead of 30, that sucks. But if you can still land the right anti-armor missiles to kill things like infestors... Oh god, what is that? Six missiles to kill an infestor? Oh, I take it back. That's so bad. The damage point is so low, it can't be worth it, right? Alright, we'll talk about that more later. For now, the bigger problem is he's losing bases. He's starting to build extra Ghost Academy, so we're looking to see some possible nukes come out of Clem. I think nukes are going to be the best way he cleans up these Spore Crawlers and pushes them back, because he can't rely on tanks. Never since the Broodlords came out. He knows that too, so it's a little bit tougher as he takes some bad engagements. A couple EMPs try and land, take the energy away from those infestors. No snipes going off because the fungal growth keep blanketing the army, and there's a parasitic bomb to kill some of the sky units. But while the medevacs are going down, we got to remember that means there's not any more healing going down for these units. So while the ghosts have a lot of health... Wait, did he not get cloak? He does have cloak. Why is he not cloaking? He's just dying to the Broodlords. What? What? Did Clem finally get building armor, by the way? Okay, you guys corrected me on that. Thank you. I didn't see him do that in the production tab, so I just assumed he didn't have it. But there was a long period of time where Clem did not have building armor. Thank you, guys. Oh, no! Oh, thank God for that cancel. I actually had a moment where I'm like, he's gonna nuke himself. I was too busy looking for that building armor you guys talked about. All right, so building armor is in play. This is gonna be huge for the run buys, but we're not really seeing run buys right now. It's a lot of like attack versus attack, main army versus main army, and I don't know if he's actually gonna get a chance to land any of these nukes. But whether it's cleaning up the creep or just being used as like a zoning mechanism, or oh, get some beautiful snipes. There you go, boyo. Clem is the one who needs to make stuff happen. Snute has so much map control. I mean, granted, it's split half and half, but Snute's the one with the free units, so he's got the ability to actually pressure in, where Clem can't get past these Spore Crawlers. Like, that's what really sucks about this. So, a couple of these nukes, whether it's pushing off the army or actually killing a Spore Crawler, or maybe just distracting to bait the Broodlords in for some snipe range. Oh, but the fungal growth lands, so the snipes are all totally denied. Not totally. Round 2 goes off. It's a lot of kills. That's nice to see. Another EMP tries to land to soak that energy away from the infestors. And, you know, this is really bad for Snute. All these infestors are pretty much dry. He's got, like, what, 1? Maybe 2 fungal growths in him? If Clem waits too long, of course, then Snute's just going to regenerate all that energy. But I don't know if he realizes just how much has been used. This is the time to push in for some more of those nukes and maybe try and bait some more of those snipes. 3 nukes are finishing up in just a second, folks. There's another one. Oh, medevac gets picked off. He needs these. He needs these really badly, actually. The auto attacks with the ghosts are actually getting some okay damage done, too. Looks like he's actually going to let the nuke fall. That'll get some of the creep tumors. That's not too bad. Another nuke does come down. He's cleaning up some of the creeps so he can take another base. I mean, this is so awkward. Both players are just in such a rooted-in situation, right? Snute with his Spore Crawlers and waiting on energy and free units, he can't really push into Clem at the moment. But Clem's in a similar situation. He can't really push into Snute, not until all the Spore Crawlers are gone. Looking for another nuke, getting some cloaks. Ooh, is there any detection? Well, there will be a few fungals. Fungal goes down on the nuking ghost. That ghost is going to die, though, so no actual nukes will land. A couple of anti-armor missiles go off. It's such low damage, though. Oh, God, it's so bad. I think, at this point, auto turrets might even be more effective. Like I said, though, this is the first time I've seen this post-patch, and it's just not looking very good. Although the argument, I suppose, is the damage is still lasting. Like, you don't kill the Broodlord with that first wave of 15 anti-armor missiles, but maybe the Vikings do on the second attack. I don't know what to tell you guys. This is crazy, and I love it. But Clem is certainly the one who's he's trying his best to make a lot of moves. Snute's doing some good reactions. Another fungal lands, couple more. These Broodlords coming in. This nuke, it's never going to land at this rate. Ooh, those Vikings are fungal. He's got to get away from the infested Terrans. The infested Terrans, of course, have bonus damage to air thanks to those rocket launchers, 17 a shot. But, oh, Clem, getting a little bit shy on the money there, dude. His gas is not looking so hot. I don't know if he can keep this up forever. But whether it's a snipe or an auto attack, he's still getting good trades here on the ground side of things. It's just these Broodlords he can't quite seem to break. Anytime he gets close in there, Snute, very quick to respond with the infestors. Credit where it's due, though. Snoot's playing this very well. I like it. More snipes coming off. They're grabbing some queens, hoping to stop some of these transfuses that these queens provide. So nasty, so annoying. The Viking count, though, is really in a funky spot. Like, there's barely enough Vikings here to really be effective. He's going to try and repair things up. Okay, I like to see that. More nukes to keep Snute on his toes. Sport crawlers are all over the place right now. God forbid one of these nukes actually lands. Dear Microsoft notification settings, can't you see I'm presently in a game of StarCraft 2? Why are you popping up on my screen? This is not the time for you. One sec, guys. I don't know if that'll break it. I gotta go close this. Because I'm not gonna do an update in the middle of the game. Get out of here. Man, I'm looking at the resources lost, and all signs point to Snute. Like, Snute has the bigger bank. He's got the better trades up to this point in the game. And I think, frankly, to a degree, he's got the better army as well. But seriously, the power of ghosts are so volatile. Like, one good session of snipes, a couple of decent anti-armor missiles paired up with a Viking volley. Like, he clears out that sky, and Snute will take a long time to rebuild. Like, he'll rebuild. He's got the money for it. It's just a matter of time. This not being a planetary kind of sucks. This is the main base floated over, but now seeing the opportunity to maybe get some snipes. He tries to pick off some of the Broodlords, but the Broodlings on the ground are interrupting Shed snipes. Not getting the Infestors, not getting the Broodlords. He's got to pull back, and Clem's probably not going to be able to hold this base. He looks to try and land a nuke. I'm not sure where that ghost is nuking from, by the way. I think it's somewhere over here. Nah, I got picked off, so no nukes. Feels bad. Command Center does live, barely. It's on fire after all. But he does need to be mining. Not so much the minerals as he does the gas. The geysers are far more valuable to Clem right now than anything else. And oh, that's so awkward. The sport crawler could shoot it. Now we got some auto turrets coming down. I like this. Auto turrets still have quite a bit of damage. The only thing they really changed when they brought the auto turret back was the Raven has to pretty much drop it almost directly below. But I feel like if you were to set up like a cage of auto turrets, like just 4 in a row and then try and nuke from behind that might be a little bit easier than the just nukes he's trying to pull off now. But ooh, anti-armor missiles get a lot of splash damage done. A couple snipes going too. I'm not sure if these double nukes are gonna land, but that was a lot of damage done to Snoot's army. But as I said before, man, he's got the money to remake it, and oh my god, this nuke might land on the Broodlords. Does he get the nuke? It's so close. No, feels bad, man. Those, like, let's real talk about that, right? Those Broodlords were just barely out of the splash radius. I do kind of wish when the nuke was landing, it would show more clearly. Kind of like a scan, you know, like the big circle of where it will hit. But those Broodlords were damn close to being stuck in the center of it. The Viking count's still holding up okay. A couple of snipes go off. It's like they get a volley and then the Broodlings land and they got to fall back every time. And each time these trades go off, I mean, Clem gets hits, he gets damage, but Snute is, I feel, the one who still keeps coming out better for it. Again, so much of that was me just like referencing his bank, which more snipes go off, but more ghosts go down. Clem is almost out of gas, much less the minerals. Rebuilding this seems not likely for him. It's a bigger struggle for him to max out, but oh, we got some run-bys on the sides. This is nice, but this is also where tanks and planetaries turn out to be really effective. So the Lings ultimately here kill like 1 or 2 tanks and maybe a supply depot. It didn't seem like he got much done with that, but I like the attempts, changing it up, because right now they're both stalemating in a weird way. Although I think Clem's the one who will eventually lose, and it's the money game. Talk about that more later. In the meantime, to break the monotony, hey, OFU, thank you for the 29-month resub. Printer Hands coming back for 41 months just now as well. Thank you guys both for continuing to support the channel and my dreams. Appreciate it. These sport crawlers, man, I can't even. They've been such a problem this game. It's just like this. It's funny because they're not spine crawlers, right? They don't actually attack, but they've just been a problem with their presence being here. Can't push in through it. Can't dive on top of it. Can't get away from these parasitic bombs. Oh, the Viking's trying to land, but Clem loses his all. Like, what? He's got like 1 Viking on the ground that comes out of it. His Ravens all died. He's got nothing left. This game is pretty much over, I'd say now. That attack out of Snute was too good. There's no way the Ghost get the damage done. I think Clem feels it too. The creep spread's preventing the command center from landing. This will be the last fight, the last bastion of Terran. Even with more units on the way, it's not going to be enough. And Clem, well, you know, he sideswipes from the left. I love the Marines, but too little, too late. I see with the question mark. Even if he breaks Snute here, look at Snute's bank. Remaking units is not a problem for him. And he's not even getting fully broken. It looked for a brief second, for a glimmer of hope, the Terran race might succeed. But, you know, credit to this Viking. Still standing. Literally, on the ground. 6 kills. It's the worst air army I've ever seen. This is tilting. For poor Clem, if he loses this, of course, he'll be sent down to the losers bracket, but that's why I really want to, again, emphasize for all those watching, there is an entire second bracket to this. So whether it's Clem or Snute or Harsum, whoever your favorite player is, they do have a second shot to qualify through the bottom side. I believe it's top 4 players overall today, with top 2 from the winners bracket and top 2 from the losers bracket that will qualify through. I'm unsure if that's entirely accurate because, like I said, I'm not really following the format so much as the games. Just here to cast some good StarCraft. Oh, there's no medevacs. Oh, the snipes are not bad, but no way to heal up this damage, and Clem needs to be aggressive. He can't be aggressive. The Ghost has been spotted. He's probably gonna get abducted. Yoink! But oh, that's gonna cost him the Vipers. He needed more trades like this. Oh, I heard some applause. Who that was? Wardy. Wardy just hosted you. Wardy's been casting all morning, guys. He was casting like some replays and just some WCS action. Thank you, Wardy, for the host. Hope you had a good morning of StarCraft, friendo. This game. I'm glad we picked this game. The entire rest of the bracket would have been done by now. We would have just sitting around twiddling our thumbs. Not that I guess we're doing much different here watching this one. It's a stressful game though because, you know, like I really feel like Snute's got this in the bag. It does take just like, if Snute loses an engagement, maybe Clem can push. I do like this though. I think going for drops, and I think Marines are going to be a lot more effective than this stalemate he's found himself in on the front lines. Giving up a base, realizing he's pretty much out of money. I mean, like, Clem is actually out of minerals and out of gas at all of these other bases. This is pretty much his last base standing. Bungles hit. The Marines can't move very well. Zerglings, Broodlings. Command center goes down. Everything dying. While Clem had set up for this drop, he's not even sent it in. He's been so busy focused, dying over here. I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is finally the end. I think Clem has finally been broken. Snute with 4K minerals in the bag. I mean, this is absurd. How many queens is this? This is 21 queens we've been looking at this entire time. Even with the snipes going off, they've been dying so like, just to the transfuses. Not to mention the queens, of course, the 3/3 have their own damage they can bring. A base goes down on the top left, but hardly of concern. Overseers see the Ghost, so the Ghost will die. No nuke will land. Feels bad, man. There was so many nukes this game, and almost none of them landed. And the few that did just killed creep tumors. Not how you want Ghosts to be used, but desperately hoping and praying this nuke lands. Oh, he's gonna hit it. There's no detection. These queens are finally gonna die. It took all game, but they finally go down. Oh, it doesn't even get that many. Oh, it's so depressing. Blizzard, did you like stealth nerf the nuke radius? What the frick? It doesn't matter. What amazing nuke. 1-1 in the game anyways. GG. Well played. And after a long and very exhausting game 2, Snute will advance on to fight what I think is a qualifying match. Let's give a refresh real quick before we go to commercials. See if... Yes, it's going to be Mana. So this is a WCS Austin rematch. It's going to be Snute versus Mana. I'm going to go try and make some food. So here's that break. I won't miss the game, though. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.